everybody, it's Katie Snyder. I'm here to do a little read aloud for you today of one of my favorite books in the world. It's The Lorax by one of my favorite authors, Dr. Seuss. I've loved Dr. Seuss since I was a little girl, and I even still love him today. He's got some fun stories. I like the way they sound, but I also like the message that's in this particular one. And you may see around me a lot of plants. I'm not where I usually am when I do read-alouds. Usually I do them in my living room, but today I'm on my porch. I'm just going to turn this a little bit so you can see all the plants. I like to grow things. And I thought that this would be a good place to read a story like The Lorax, and maybe you'll see why in just a minute. So let's get started. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except in old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. That looks great, doesn't it? And deep in the grickle grass, some people say if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. It's a very cool Dr. Seuss house. I always loved to draw Dr. Seuss houses when I was little. They're fun to draw. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in the lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in the lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of myth-muffered moof. And on special dark midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. See the little kid? He's throwing it into 15 cents and the nail and the snail shell. Then he pulls up the pail and he makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Ooh. Only for your ears. Slup. Down slups the whisper-ma-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose. And he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. See the whisper-ma-phone? The kid has to listen to the story through that. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swami swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place. And I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. I love this picture. Isn't that great? Wouldn't that be a great place to be? And under the trees, I saw the brown bearloots frisking about in their bearloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Isn't that cool? What a beautiful place to be. That'd be a good place to shelter in place. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. Uh-oh, look what he's unloading. Not sure about that stuff. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. Knitted a thneed. Okay. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of a stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. And there he is. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I am asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, what's that thing you made out of my truffula tuft? He is not a happy camper, is he? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I just chopped down one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. It's not. It's a thneed. Onceler thinks everyone needs. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed that I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You'll never can tell what some people may buy. He bought it. That chap bought that thneed. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken. Sharp right at South Stitch. Calling the whole family to come. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Look, bringing in more truffula trees that they chopped down. They're knitting them on the inside into thneeds. Then, oh baby, oh how my business did grow. Now, chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. Look at that machine, chopping down 4 trees. But the next week, he knocked on my office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown bearloots who played in the shade in their bearloot suits and lived happily eating truffula fruits. And now Thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle of fruit to go around, and my poor bare loots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. Sad they look. Before they were happy. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. He says he feels sad, but his actions aren't acting like he feels very sad, are they? I meant no harm. I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. So, everyone might need some money. This Onceler dude, he seems to think he needs a lot of money. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled, he snarled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffless croak. Onceler, you're making such smoggless smoke. My poor swanny swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. Look at all that smog. If you listen really closely, you can hear my dog Frankie snore. Snores kind of like an old Onceler. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. They look so sad. They look so sad. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about the gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup, also schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. That does not look very pretty, does it? You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hum. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and they'll get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. Because in Dr. Seuss land, they can walk off like that. That wouldn't work in our world, would it? And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffle of trees into thnees, which everyone needs. Little confusion about want versus need going on here, huh? And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. Wow. That must have been a really sad sound. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big, empty factory, the Lorax, and I. And that does not look quite the same as it looked when he found it, right? He certainly did not leave it the same as when he found it. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget that grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. He found one little clear patch that he could go out. It's kind of sad. And all that Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word: unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away through the years while my buildings have fallen apart. I've worried about it with all of my heart. I guess he had lots and lots of time to think about it, huh? Sometimes it's good to have time to think about things. But now, said the once-learned, now that you're here, the words of the Lorax seem perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Someone could be this little boy in the story. That someone could be you. So, catch, said the once-learned, and he let something fall. It's the last truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. He's given him the seed. And then the kid is going to be in charge of planting a plant, planting a truffula tree, and seeing if he can kind of regrow the forest. And if you regrow the forest, then everything that lives in the forest can also live there, right? So I'm going to unscrew this right here because I want to show you something. Because in this time, a lot of people are planting things like trees and gardens, and I want to show you a few things that I planted before this time of quarantine and social isolation. But see this behind me? Do you see that tall tree? Oh, hear Frankie snoring. But this tall tree was once an avocado that I ate. Yep, I ate an avocado, and inside the avocado there's a pit, right? Some people put that in water with toothpicks. I just pushed it down in the ground. Pushed it down in the ground, and I gave it lots of sun here on this sunny porch, and I gave it water when it needed, and now I have a tree. I'm kind of amazed, really, at how it actually worked. I didn't think it would really work. And here's something else I grew from a seed. I'm thinking about seeds because of the truffula trees and the one seed, right? This, can you see that? That's lavender. Last year, I planted some lavender seeds. I planted some outside, and they're still there. They're coming back. I'm shocked, really. And I planted them inside because I thought it'd be so cool to have my porch smell like lavender. It hasn't gotten the flowers yet, but if you take a little piece and you go like this in your fingers, you could smell it. It sure does smell like lavender. It really smells good, friends. So, some things that we can do to kind of help the world a little bit in this time of isolation is we can grow some things. We can grow gardens. We can grow anything, just a little seed. All you really need is a seed and some soil and some sunlight. It can be in your window, and a little bit of water. It can be like the kid in the Lorax. Okay, friends, I'll see you another time. Have yourself a good day. Bye-bye now.